I just
collar
fixed
annoys
it.
me. Your collar, it never wants to work right. Hunter, so I wanted to talk to you about, I had a customer that called in. He was talking about placing an order for a vapor honing machine, but his concern was, how does he know what abrasives to choose? How does he know what he can and cannot use and what it's good for?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a multitude of abrasives that we have. I mean,
Right.
the two most common are going to be glass bead, aluminum oxide. Those are two of the most frequently used abrasives we see here. Glass bead is good for like a general clean and polish if your parts are just a little bit dirty.
Right.
If they just need like a quick touch up, that's what glass bead's good for because it's round and hollow, acts as a polishing agent. It's very good and universal in what it does there.
Okay.
You know, aluminum oxide, it's more for a cutting edge to your abrasive.
Yeah.
So aluminum oxide's the best choice there. Now there are, you know, different grits to aluminum oxide
Right.
that we offer. So the finer stuff's good for the lighter stuff. So like light buildup, light corrosion, light tooling marks, slight burrs that need smoothed out. Whereas a more aggressive one may be good for, you know, powder coat, stronger adhesives on parts that you're having difficulty getting off. So,
So removing the paint and powder coat.
right.
Or prepping for a coating.
Right.
I know one of the other things that we do a lot is we mix abrasives.
Yeah.
So we can mix glass bead that's going to be slow and then just a little bit of an aluminum oxide that's going to help it work together. And the characteristics of both abrasives are going to kind of partner and give you a, I guess, speed up the process because it's the aluminum oxide, but then you're going to have the polished finish in the end.
Right. So glass bead and aluminum oxide, they can be mixed for that reason. You basically get a 2-for-1. It gets it done in half the time instead of having to switch abrasives out and go through that whole mess, which is a big concern for a lot of people. So since this abrasive works a little bit different than other processes because the process uses water, but using that mix, since it's a little bit of aluminum oxide and more of an upper hand of glass bead, it's actually going to polish it a little bit more than what you'll expect for having an aluminum oxide in there.
Right.
But it's such a little amount that it's not going to make a huge difference in the finish if you were just using a straight glass bead or the mixture.
Right. So what other abrasives are more aggressive, which would have like a sharp edge that would be good for removing paint, powder coat, or prepping for a coating?
Right, so we have garnet and we have silicon carbide. Garnet's just a little bit harder and it's way bigger than what aluminum oxide is. We offer the 30 to 60 mesh.
Right.
So it's a lot bigger, a lot more aggressive than the finer aluminum oxides that we offer. Silicon carbide is the hardest abrasive that we offer, so it is the most aggressive that you're going to get. It will remove it a little bit faster since it's harder and more aggressive. It's also a little bit more dense than what aluminum oxide is, so it doesn't break down as easily.
Well, and that's important when you're thinking about how often you have to change out your abrasive, right? Like what kind of money are you spending on abrasive? For example, with the glass bead, you can usually about 4 weeks if you're using it every single day. But then if you change it out to like a ceramic bead, because that's a solid particle, it's going to last, 10 to 15 times longer than what glass bead does. And so it's just, it does cost a little bit more.
Yeah, ceramic's a little bit more expensive, but you know, as long as you get to use it without it breaking down, it's kind of worth it. Actually very worth it.
Yeah.
We offer 2 different sizes of that. We offer a very, very, very fine size, which is the most expensive one. And then we offer a little bit bigger of a size, kind of like a happy medium there.
Yeah.
Ceramic's very particular in the finish that it offers. It's, you know, it goes with more of like the antique look. It offers in between what a glass bead and a straight aluminum oxide would offer. So it's
more of a satin finish.
Right, more of a satin. It's going to be a little bit refined from what you see with a glass bead where it's mirror-like, it's in your face, it's, you know, bright. It's going to be a little bit more toned back.
And that's sometimes it's very important also with the CNC machining, deburring, removing machine marks. Sometimes a ceramic bead is a good option to do that. But again, because it is solid and it does last so long, it is more expensive in those cases. And so we do want to make sure we make that clear.
And, you know, something else it's good for is things like weld burns. It cleans weld burns up
That's a good point.
really, really well.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it's just really particular to what you're doing. Like I said, most of the applications that, you know, people come to us with are going to be more of a glass bead or an aluminum oxide or a mixture of the two.
Right.
But you do occasionally get, you know, powder coat or tougher adhesives or things that are just really, really hard to remove off of parts. Or people want more of a satin finish than an in-your-face finish.
I'm just curious, have you had anyone claim that we've spray painted parts when we use glass bead?
1,000 times. 1,001 times, guys.
It's so funny, right? Because they think that it's such a nice finish that it can't be an abrasive or a process like that.
I mean, you're not going to get the finish out of any other process. I mean, the reason it's so good is just because the water is going to cushion it against the surface of the part. That way it doesn't dig into the part, it doesn't take off metal, it doesn't do anything harmful to the part. It just enhances the surface finish that you get.
And I know I've heard you tell customers that it cleans by flow and not impact.
Right.
So dry blast is going to beat the part up because it's hitting with such a force.
Right.
And that's what makes it chalky, and that's what creates the dust and the heat warping. But with vapor honing, the water is literally going to let it flow in the peaks and valleys of the surface, right?
Yeah, and it deals with complex geometries a lot better because you don't get the packing, and you can even do this in a one-step process for parts that are greasy, whereas with dry blast, you know, the dry media will hit that grease and just cake together and you can't use it again.
Any moisture in there is not good for dry blast, I know. That's what I've heard. You know, I did have a part that we did the other day with soda. And I was so surprised. It was just a level under what the glass bead was. It wasn't far off.
Kind of like the ceramic does. It sits in between the aluminum oxide and the glass bead finish-wise.
Yeah.
It was super impressive because I saw that part too. But
it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
to be able to do that kind of thing and then still know that it's going to dissolve when you're rinsing it out.
Right.
Which gives a lot of comfort to people. Because again, these engines are very expensive.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a rinsing system that they feel confident to get the glass bead or the aluminum oxide out, soda is a perfect opportunity to be able to do that and still get a nice finish.
Yeah, and I mean, you'll have to super saturate your water and you'll have to eventually add more, but it definitely, if you need that level of comfort or that level of knowing, then soda's definitely going to be the best way for you.
It's ideal.
We have machines that can handle soda, handle it just like the other ones with the closed loop do.
That's right.
Works, you know, just as well. It's just not going to give you that high polished finish that you're looking for.
Correct.
It's going to give you an in-between.
Right, exactly. Well, that was really good information, and you know, I think that customers are going to benefit greatly from that kind of information on the abrasives. Hopefully, help someone know what steps to take to figure out.
Right, and our number, if you guys need us at any time, is 828-202-5563. You know, the whole sales team is here. We're happy to answer any questions you guys have. I hope this was super informative for you guys. Again, please call us if you have any questions, please. We're always available.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.